Hi, this is Dana Christensen. I wanted to go over some general tips for people who are just beginning to use essential oils because a lot of people are unfamiliar with them or they're not real confident about how to use them. When I first got mine, I had no clue. I didn't know what to do with it. It didn't come with any instructions and I didn't have any books. Now we have these um, nice little reference guides that tell us specifically what to do with them. But I didn't have that. So some basic things that you want to know is that you always want to avoid your eye. Now, if you're wanting to use oils near the eye for support, you can go on the orbital bone. So out here is okay, but keep in mind some oils will travel. I've put myrrh out here before and it moved into my eye. So if you get oils into your eye, they're not necessarily going to harm your eye, but they will hurt. So if that makes sense. If you get oils in your eye, you want to use a carrier oil. I'm sorry, this bottle is really beat up, but they last a really long time, and that's why. You can use any kind of fatty oil. So if you're in your kitchen and you have coconut oil handy, great. Olive oil, grapeseed oil, whatever that is. So you want to just put a little bit on your finger, and if you get it in your eye, and then rub that in this bottom part of your eye so it can slow down the process of what the oils are doing. Okay. You don't want to drop them directly into your ear undiluted. I am not, after 13 years, I'm still not knowledgeable of how to dilute properly to get them in my ear, so I don't do it. You can put oils in your hand and put your finger in the oils that are in your hand and put them as far into your ear as your finger will fit. That's perfectly fine. You just don't want to do this number. I've had people do it and survive, but I don't recommend it. So what I do instead is, do this inside the ear, and then the mastoid bone, which is this bone right behind the ear, is an excellent place to put oils if you're having discomfort in the ear. So I would do that. Always keep a fatty oil handy when you're using oils, especially when you're first starting out, because you're not sure how they're going to react to you. You may, if you've been sensitive to things in the past, you may want to patch test an oil on your skin here to see how it responds before you put it somewhere else. Always keep your oils, don't over tighten them, but make sure they're snug, but you don't want to make it, because if you do it too tight, it'll rip this top off and then they'll come out. So you want to make sure the lids are snug. You always want to store them upright, and you want to keep them outside of the light and away from heat if possible. If your oils get left in the car and they're hot, just don't open them while they're hot. Just let them cool down before you do open them. Let's see. Keep them out of the reach of children. They can be very harmful to children, just like anything else that you use for your wellness. So you want to make sure that the kids can't get to them. Not that they're going to be toxic, but they could hurt themselves with their eyes, or if they're real little, they get too much around their face. Their lungs could collapse if they're really high in menthol. So that's important to keep them away from children. Treat them like any other wellness product that you have in your medicine cabinet. And children love the oils. And, I used to give my little girl empty bottles to play with, and she loved it. She would pretend to be just like mommy. So they want to do what you're doing, and they will try if you leave them out where they can reach them. So essential oils rich in menthol, like peppermint, should not be used on the throat or neck area of children under 18 months. I would say under 2 years, and I would say don't use them above the waist, just to be more careful. If you need to use an oil on a child that's menthol, the feet is a good place. I also used a little bit on the tailbone of my daughter, and I diluted it first and then put it on her tailbone. So if you have one of these books, you would know why you would need to use oils like that. Angelica, bergamot, orange, grapefruit, lemon, ruta, tangerine, and other citrus oils are photosensitive. So what that means is if you put it on your skin and then you go out in the sun, it can cause that area of your skin to burn or to change pigmentation. So you want to be really careful when you're going out in the sun and you've applied citrus oil. So just put them where the sun don't shine. So okay, we already talked about the eyes. Pregnant women need to consult somebody that knows what they're doing with oils, someone that's had some experience. There are reference guides for pregnancy and babies. I would get one of those for sure. My favorite is Aroma Infant, and it's sold at the LSP website, discoverlsp.com. It's called Aroma Infant. One thing about pregnancy is not a time to start new things. If you have not used essential oils, you're not experienced with essential oils, it is not a time to start using them. Put it that way. You may want to, but the thing is that if there were anything that would happen to the child or the pregnancy, we don't want the oils to be blamed. Not that there would be anything. I had a pregnancy and used oils every single day, internally, externally, lots of oils. I had the most beautiful pregnancy ever. It was amazing. Everybody was so healthy, and I didn't have the that gestational diabetes like I had high risk for with my first one. It was just a really beautiful time, and it wasn't necessarily the oils that did that, but the oil infused supplements that I was taking. So it was just a really good time for me. Okay, what else we want to talk about? And if you are using them and you're pregnant and you've used them and you're comfortable with them, just avoid things like wintergreen and peppermint, deep relief in copious amounts. So you don't want to use more than 3 applications of anything in a day's time. A lot of people have a lot of hip discomfort and they'll put a lot of pain relieving substances on their bodies, and that can thin the placenta and it can cause bleeding. So we don't want to do that. So just be really mindful when it comes to overusing anything during pregnancy. Okay. Occasionally, people that are beginning to use authentic essential oils will suffer rashes or allergic reactions, and it may be due to using undiluted spice, conifer, or citrus oils, or it may be caused by interaction of the oil, which with residues of synthetic petroleum-based personal care products have leached into the skin. So when you use, I want to just not just Walmart, but when you use Walmart quality personal care products and they have petrochemical bases in them, that builds up in your skin. And when you first start using oils, it can pull that out. And that can be it can look like you're allergic, but it's really just gunk leaving your system. So be a little bit careful with that. All right. And water is going to amplify. So if you have an oil and it starts to get uncomfortable, use a carrier oil to slow down that process. So if it's getting hot, put some carrier oil on top of it. It'll slow down the rate that it's absorbing. If you have an oil and you would like it to get hot, take a little water on your hand, get your hand damp and rub that, and it'll make that oil work faster. So enjoy using your oils. I'm glad that you're on board with us with the authentic essential oils.